You want me to put that on my Tudor?
A narcissist fights the ignited fury. Teeth suck. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Beneath the surface, with every single narcissist, there is fury. Sometimes it is heated fury, others cold fury. Heated fury appears as verbal violence, sexual violence, physical violence, the destruction of property, a tirade, a rant, a blast of profanities. Cold fury is a cold shoulder, a present or absent silent treatment, an icy glare, turning the back. Some narcissists use heated fury only. Some tend to be cold fury only. Others have a mixture. But what fury does is it acts as a motivating factor for the narcissist to protect the narcissist. When you wound or challenge the narcissist, you threaten the narcissist's innate need for control. This results in the fury that is lurking beneath the surface becoming ignited. In some instances, you get to see this fury in all its glory. You are subjected to it, and the purpose of that is to cause you to be brought under control, for you to provide fuel, so that you halt the challenge, you halt the wounding. Thus the narcissist is preserved, and their fuel levels go back up. It is simply a self-defense mechanism, a form of preservation utilized by the narcissist. Different narcissists have different levels of control over this ignited fury. So, for instance, lesser narcissists regularly blow their tops, particularly lower lesser and middle lesser, a volcanic eruption with a hair trigger. Mid-range narcissists are less likely to do so. They have a better control over it, but it's far from perfect. But what their ignited fury competes with is invariably the facade. More of that in a moment. With greater narcissists than the ultra, there is a very high level of control over this ignited fury, so that in some instances you would never ever see it. Even some intimate partners, often the one that is on the receiving end of the worst devaluing behaviour behind closed doors, doesn't get to see this ignited fury. Such is the ability of the greater or the ultra to exercise control over it. Thus also, they are governed by the needs of a facade in certain circumstances. Harry's wife is a mid-range narcissist, as you know. She operates a facade, and the job of that facade is to show the outside world that she's kind, that she's empathic, that she can be relied upon, that she's essentially a nice person. But that facade management is really put through its paces, because Harry's wife faces so many threats to her control, resulting in her being wounded or challenged, and therefore that causes her fury to rise. And thus, as soon as it starts to do so in a public place, the facade management must scramble like some emergency response team going, "Don't let the fury out, don't let the fury out. We can't have the facade damaged." Usually, the facade management of Harry's wife prevents her going completely loco in public. So we've never seen her, for instance, punch Harry in the chops. We've not seen her giving him a dressing down in a public space. We've not seen her suddenly engaging in a rant or suddenly storming off away from him. But what we do see is the struggle between the fury as it seeks to emerge and the facade which is trying to keep it in check. And we have often seen instances where the facade has started to fracture. The death stare, for instance, that she gave her mother at the Grenfell event, the death stares that she's thrown in the direction of Catherine, Princess of Wales. We've seen the clenching of the jaw and the bulging of the neck muscles on numerous instances. This is where the heated fury is trying to make its presence felt, and the facade is going, no, you can't come out, stay back. It'll be a disaster if this appears. And here's another opportunity to see as her ignited fury seeks to come to the surface and her facade management seeks to keep it under control. It succeeds. She doesn't erupt in a volcanic fury in front of everybody else. And to the uninitiated, they wouldn't actually see what was going on. But you have the benefit of your glorious narrator taking you through what's happening, and also the fact that I've slowed the video down so you can see it in all its majesty. Let me play you the clip first. There it is. Harry is in animated discussion. Harry's wife is talking to somebody else. Once that conversation has finished, she is momentarily cut adrift. And at this point, Harry, if he knew what was good for him, would immediately turn to her to show that he's under control. But of course, understandably, he's engaging in a conversation with somebody else. This, however, is a problem for Harry's wife. Harry is on her radar in front of her, and her narcissism asks in the subconscious, is Harry under control? Well, he's not talking to us. Therefore, he must not be under control. Accordingly, her control over Harry is threatened. Yes, it is as hypersensitive as that. Furthermore, whoever Harry is talking to isn't talking to Harry's wife, and that also means that her control over that individual is threatened. The immediate response of her narcissism is, unleash the fury, to compel her to do something, to bring Ginger Bollocks under control, and also the other person that she's speaking to. But as the fury starts to be released from its cage, the other aspect of her narcissism, namely the presentation of a facade to the outside world, goes, no, you can't let the fury appear. We're in public. The facade will be damaged. And therefore, the facade management team immediately starts to try and contain the fury as it starts to make its way to the surface. And thus you see that when she realizes that Harry's attention is elsewhere, the fury ignites, and you can see her expression change. Here comes the fury. And then the facade management fights back as she draws her teeth, sucking on them. This is where the facade management is fighting against the fury, and it has the physical manifestation with Harry's wife of showing that form of struggle. Sometimes it manifests as her blinking a lot. Sometimes she plays with her hair. Sometimes it manifests as clenching the jaw and the neck muscles bulging. Here, she sucks over her teeth because the fury is trying to punch its way out and the facade management is trying to keep it in. So there is a conflict, there is a turmoil. And what her narcissism actually causes us to do is, rather than blow up at Harry, it makes her interrupt. Lack of boundary recognition. So she bursts into their conversation, causing Harry to turn and acknowledge her. Ba-dum! The narcissism has done its job. Harry's attention is now on her, thus demonstrating that he's under control, and the other person is obviously looking at her, judging from the way that she's speaking, thus that person has been brought under control. The narcissism has done its job. Thus the ignited fury didn't pour forth and cause a scene. The facade held. It wavered slightly because we saw the teeth sucking, but it held in place, and she shows her narcissism through the sense of entitlement and lack of boundary recognition by interrupting the conversation so that the attention is brought back onto her. Another excellent video snippet that shows her narcissism in action and brilliant dissected by me, your glorious narrator. I'm H.D. Tudor. Thank you for watching.